Welcome back, folks. It's National Nutrition Month here in March, and this year's theme is Get Your Plate in Shape. And Dave, tell us a little bit about how we're going to get our plate in shape.
All right, today we're going to make a wonderful vegetable stir fry, and we're going to incorporate tofu into that. Now, I know what y'all are thinking about tofu, one of those ingredients that you're not so sure about, but I have to tell you, it's a wonderful way to incorporate protein, especially vegetable protein, into your dish. And it also takes on a lot of the flavors that you are already cooking with.
It definitely does. It's not that it's flavorless, it just really lends itself well to the flavors that you're creating your dish with. Today in the stir fry, we're going to be using these wonderful Asian flavors of soy sauce, rice vinegar, fresh ginger, scallions. It's going to come out wonderful. And we're going to be using soba noodle. Tell us a little bit about that.
Right, so soba noodle is a traditional Japanese noodle made of buckwheat flour. Okay, so it's a whole grain. It's really healthy for you.
Now on to tofu. I know it's a little scary for most people, but Dave's going to show us a little bit about what you should do to really make it delicious.
When you're doing a stir-fry dish, prepping the ingredients in a certain way is very important because of the very quick cooking time. And the first thing we have to do with the tofu is we take it out of the package, obviously, but we also have to press it. Take out some of the extra moisture, and I simply just take some paper towel, right, and just give it a firm pressing into the paper towel. Take away some of the extra moisture.
Yeah, at home I like to use a small book. I put it on top of the paper towel for about 10 minutes. It pulls out a little bit more of the moisture and it just makes it that much better.
And simply I stand it up, and I'm actually going to divide this into thirds this way.
Very nice. And for stir fry, you're going to want to use a firm tofu and not a silken tofu.
Correct.
Use that for desserts and such if you're so inclined to try.
And then I stack it back up, cut it into thin strips this way, turn it, and one more cut go in the opposite direction, and we get some nice cubes of tofu.
Fantastic.
All right.
While Dave is doing that, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about pea pods. They are delicious, but one of the things you need to do is pull the string off of them. So you want to take your thumb and index finger and pinch this end, and then grab it and just pull right down and pull the string off. You're going to want to do that for all of your snap peas and go from there. So as I do that, Dave will talk a little bit about
some of the other ingredients that we have here. We're going to be using shiitake mushrooms, and I want to point out with shiitake mushrooms, you've probably seen these in the grocery store, but the only thing we're really going to use is the cap, and we have to remove this stem that gets pretty tough and fibrous. So I just pinch the stem right off. Again, just twist and pinch the stem right off of there. And then to finish preparing the shiitake mush, just slice them very, very thin. Right? And again, all these ingredients have to be produced, cut very thinly or in very small pieces because of the quick cooking time of a stir fry.
Exactly. All right, now we're going to be on to the stir fry.
What are some of the other ingredients we have here, Pete?
What we have is we have a sliced carrot, sliced thin. As we mentioned, the peas, shredded cabbage. We have a mixture of yellow squash and eggplant, a little fresh ginger, shiitake mushrooms, obviously the tofu. You can use pretty much any vegetable you want. As long as you cook them in the right order, you'll be all set. And if it's done in the correct order, it'll come out great. And if you do it the wrong way, it'll come out a little bit mushy, and most people will just pile them all in at once. Right. And that's where they make their mistake. You need to time it and do it the correct way. The first thing we're going to want to do is cook a little bit of the tofu. You're going to want to dredge it in a little bit of cornstarch. Toss it a little bit.
Olive oil. Also a good oil to use here would be a sunflower oil or even a sesame oil.
Sesame oil is good for flavor. You don't want to use too much, as it does have a lot of saturated fat. So you want to take a little bit of the oil, pour it in the pan. Just want to cook those a little bit. Now this does go very quickly, so you must be careful with this.
So the heat in the pan should be high heat to start?
High heat all the way through, as hot as you can possibly get it. You just want to cook these a little bit to get a little golden brown on them, and then you're going to pull them off and put them into reserve. But constantly moving. Always moving stuff in the pan, keep it going. If you want to show, you can toss a little bit. practice tossing first. Don't just start throwing things in the air, as it will get a little dicey. So put that aside. Just a touch more oil. Now you want to start with your hardest vegetables first. That would be your carrots, your peppers, if you're using peppers. Let those cook for a second.
Putting in your hardest vegetables, it's going to build up more cooking time as you add in your other ingredients.
Yes, if you start with your harder vegetables to begin with, they take a little bit longer to cook, so you're going to need that extra time. So instead of piling them all in at once and all the liquid coming out of all the other vegetables and sogging it all out, you cook them almost one by one. Then after that, we're going to add the eggplant and the yellow squash. I'm going to turn that all the way up. Now, preferably, you'd want a gas flame, but if you have an electric, it'll still work just the same. Traditionally, you're supposed to use a wok, but you can get away with a saute pan in a situation like this. Most people don't have a wok at home,
right.
Or if they do, it's a real small one. Using a saute pan just the same would work great. And then we will go to the pea pods, which will slap right in there. Same thing again, if you've practiced long enough, you'll be able to toss these. If not, another safe way is using your tongs and just mixing it up in the pan. If you ask my wife, she will tell you that I should just always use tongs at home, as I do make a mess in the kitchen when I toss things. We are then going to add a little bit of the cabbage that we had shredded earlier.
That's really, it looks like a lot going in the pan now, but that's really going to wilt down.
Yes, the cabbage especially will wilt down, and it really comes together nicely, and that releases a lot of liquid in itself. If you hear that sizzle, that's a lot of the water coming out of the cabbage. Then after that, you're going to want to add a little bit of shiitake mushroom, which look fantastic, by the way. It's one of my favorite mushrooms. A little bit of sherry and leeks with that. Dave, now if you look at this, now look at the color in there. I mean, that's what you really want in a dish. You want all these great colors in there, because then you know you're eating healthy. A little bit of the ginger. Now I know ginger seems a little firmer, but it's more of a flavoring than actually cooking the vegetable, and plus it's a very small dice.
Right.
A little scallion. We'll reintroduce the tofu that we had cooked off at the beginning, and now you're getting this wonderful aroma of all these vegetables coming through. The ginger really comes. We have a little bit of honey we're going to add for sweetness. Just
so now you're starting to build your sauce.
Build the sauce. You don't need
in the pan.
Right in the pan. You don't need to make it ahead of time. Maybe about a tablespoon of honey, about 2 tablespoons of soy, maybe 3 depending upon how you like it, maybe 3.5. There we go. Touch of rice wine vinegar. And now we've cooked off the soba noodles ahead of time. They take about 5 minutes on boiling water. And just check them. They're not like a regular pasta. They do cook a little bit quicker.
Right.
So then, now if you can smell that, you can smell that.
I can smell it.
It's fantastic. If the sesame oil would come in key here,
right.
Toss the noodles in the sesame oil for the flavoring, and it comes together fantastically.
Beautiful. Can't believe how many colors we were able to put into there.
And it doesn't take long, as you can see. It took barely 5 minutes.
Right.
All right, time to plate.
Excellent.
I like to put a little bit of noodle in the middle.
Yeah.
For your base. We'll do that for both of them. We'll share. Put a little bit of vegetable over the top of that.
Right.
And that's really all there is to it. We'll share the tofu. I know you're a big fan of tofu, so I'll make sure you get a little extra.
Please.
Take one off of my plate for you.
Hey.
And there we go. And if you look at that, look at the colors on that plate, man.
That is absolutely beautiful.
Another great thing you can add, fresh basil.
Yeah.
Is a nice way to go. It can be a little overpowering at times, so just use a little bit.
Okay.
Mint, believe it or not, cilantro goes great in there too. To add a little bit extra color in the herbage in there.
You know, what I like most about this is that the vegetables themselves, they're not overcooked. They're, you know, you can still see the bright, vibrant colors.
Well, that's where the high heat really comes in. You're not stewing any of these vegetables. They're taking a very short amount of time in the high heat to really cook well.
Right.
All right. It's one of my all-time favorites.
And grab the tofu right away.
Right away.
The soy and the honey flavor, that's
That
beautiful.
honey was a great idea, Dave. Just enough sweetness. The vegetables are fantastic.
And the vinegar kind of balances all that off.
The vinegar really does go a long way in this.
Excellent.
Very important to add just that little bit of vinegar to bring that tartness to your dish.
Right? Great portion size. Overall, a great meal.
Yeah.
And again, the bright vegetables, the easiness of cooking, the speed of cooking this?
Everything about it. I mean, it's, again, we can't stress enough, it's all vegetables. There's no meat in there. There's plenty of protein from the tofu.
Right.
We get everything we need. It's a well-balanced plate. It's at the correct portion. What else could you really have?
National Nutrition Month is a nutrition education and information campaign sponsored annually by the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. The campaign is designed to focus attention on the importance of making informed food choices and developing sound eating and physical activity habits. Registered Dietitian Day, also celebrated in March, increases awareness of registered dietitians as the indispensable providers of food and nutrition services and recognizes RDs for their commitment to helping people enjoy healthy lives. The 2012 Nutrition Month theme is Get Your Plate in Shape. Similar to USDA Choose My Plate, this year's National Nutrition Month theme focuses on the following tips. Make half your plate fruits and vegetables. Make at least half of your grain choices whole grains. Switch to fat-free or low-fat milk. And vary your protein choices. Eat a variety of food from the lean protein group each week, such as seafood, nuts, beans, as well as lean meat, poultry, and eggs. Cut back on sodium and empty calories from solid fats and added sugars. Enjoy your food but eat less. Avoid oversized portions. It's helpful to manage portion sizes by using a smaller plate. Be physically active in your own way. Pick activities you like and start by doing what you can, at least 10 minutes at a time. Eating a well-balanced diet combined with physical activity is the cornerstone to promoting good health. Remember that moderation is key. Your diet and exercise plan will not be perfect every day. The key is to stick to it. Overall consistency will assure that you will achieve long-term results.